Today is July 11th, 2026. Oh, an orange vet came down my street, turned around, and drove back. I've had an orange vet around me randomly since 2018. And on the street I live on, nobody can afford a vet. Get the idea? Okay, we're going to put it this way. I went down to Mrs. Yoder's kitchen in Millersburg. Okay. There was guys in there when we first went in. They were talking off the side. That agent has this case set up to be thrown out. They got a hold of us. We went to him and he tried to say he didn't have to pay her. Of course he has to pay her. She even offered to sign a statement that she was willing to go through all that. They need to take it and pay her. They have to pay her. He's already got it set up to be thrown out for fraud. For them defrauding her. And to find out a prostitute's been getting her money, he's been buying prostitutes with the money, arrest him. You know, I get so tired when I hear other people off in the distance say drug dealers were driving around making fun of her. What are you doing making fun of me? Don't you got something better to do? You know, I sit with Jen, and my new husband, Carl, has skin cancer from being in the war. He was a tank driver, got exposed to Agent Orange, so he gets skin cancer now, and we have to have it burned off. Every 6 months, he has to go in and get burned off. And so the one side of his face looks really bad today where he had those treatments. And I said, oh, he's just, I make jokes about it. He's getting free facials from the government. Okay, trying to soften it. And she said, well, what are you doing? Trying to keep up with getting face work like Karen so you look 40? I'm 59 years old. 59. I have passed for 40. So when they say that drug dealers show up to call her ugly and to see how ugly she is, I'm not ugly. And for somebody who's almost 60, I look really damn good. And you're wasting your time making fun of me, why bother? And see, that's where these idiots, if Melissa doesn't cut it out, my ex-daughter-in-law, some guy already showed up on June 28th, 26th in Carrollton. I see her today. First he said, I found out what's going on. Now this is funny. Well, later that day outside my work, I think it was him, he said, I seen her today. None of this is funny. I found out there's a real FBI case. And the FBI and police taped Melissa telling her kids to lie. And her kids were stating they made everything up. And they wanted the girl that's laughing that she stole all the money, that she got it. And they were making everything up for her to get everything. And there's some lady waiting to arrest her. She better be telling everybody in the world that they were just all lying and making it all up for that girl to get everything. That's what they have her tape saying. They better be saying that. Otherwise, she's going to end up in jail. Okay? I heard there's some lady waiting to arrest her. Guy said, I know all about her. She's ready to pounce. She's going to arrest her in a heartbeat. Because they've already got her tape saying she made everything up. Then you tell her to tell everybody she knows never to say a word to her again. And tell everybody she was just making it up for that girl to get everything that's laughing. That she stole everything. or she'll end up in jail. She ended up in jail for as an accessory already. Where Officer Mark, right after Thanksgiving of 18, where those kids were taped, they made everything up. They wanted the house for that prostitute. Huh? And Melissa, friends with the prostitute, working with people that said they worked with the drug lord, was going to help them get away with it. And she was willing to have the kids lie, telling the kids to lie. And the kids taped an illegally bugged house that they wanted the house for Auntie Cheryl and Papa. And then later on to Flora, they made everything up. They were games of pretend. They're documenting games of pretend. Okay? These people that did this are crazy crackheads. Insane. In their scenarios that they made up. And people lapped it up like a dog returning to its vomit. They just lapped this shit up left and right like it was funny, and it was drug dealers that were killing people. Running a con on the U.S. government to steal from it. Running a con on the government to steal from it. Do you know if those drug dealers get released, how many thousands of children and women will die? Do you know how many, if they sue for $10 million each for false arrest under fraud, for them defrauding me? It could cost the government $10 to $25 billion. Oh, that's another thing that guy said. Do you know who has to pay for that? You do. Do you know how they're going to get it back out of everyone? Gas prices will be what, $5, $10 a gallon? Sales tax, 10, 15%. Because everybody else paid for it. Where you think it's funny, drug dealers robbing the government? Where do you think that's funny? These people, where they said they photoshopped all their lives in 18. Okay? Drugged me and told me to say stuff before, and they worked for Dave. One of their scenarios, and they better thank God, and thank God, that I got witnesses that debunked one of their scams. They said that they photoshopped. Now, on the 4th of July, John was over an hour late. We had already ate, did the dishes. Everybody's having coffee. They come in, they sit down on the couch. I take pictures of everyone. I make their plates. They yell. They come over, take 2 bites, yell pillow fights. More into the basement. Basement was we had a split level house. So it was a family room with a sectional couch, bathroom, full bathroom, laundry room, puppies, TV, air conditioning. Jen and I grab bottles of water. We sit on the front porch. Okay. Gabe's riding by on a lawnmower. John, Noah, and Dave are playing catch. And we could hear the kids playing outside. It was wonderful, my family enjoying my home that I've worked so hard on. Now, after about 40 minutes, it was 4th, it was way too hot outside. We went in to get dessert. Dished it up, didn't even barely sit down. Dave came in, John left. I said he left through the garage door. He said he was in a hurry, he's only stopping in to let the kids see the house. Okay. Then come upstairs. One of their scenarios they are supposed to photoshopped is they came upstairs. They're peeking through cracks in bathroom doors. Well, I'm in the bathroom, supposed to be putting cream on the sores where I thought the well water was toxic because it was orange. And I had bruises, throwing up, and severely infected. And I'm putting cream on the severe infection. And they're supposed to be dirty perverts looking through a crack in a bathroom door. And they're helping out, make fun of me for the prostitute having me raped by drug dealers. And said, oh, she's weird with herself. They were 5 to 8 years old. They didn't talk like that. They would have to be told to say that. That mentality, they would have thought you were putting diaper cream on. See what I mean? And then who goes to jail if you're peeping through a bathroom door and somebody's putting cream on sores? You do. Even under 18, if you're peeping in a bathroom door, you go to jail for being a peeping Tom. But they were, and that was one of their scenarios. I have Jen taped, Dave taped. They never came upstairs. Never happened. They brag, they Photoshop crazy crap like that. I was in Magnolia at the Bell store, and they said people had showed up and were complaining that one set of her grandkids were helping make fun of her for her ex-husband having her drugged, beat, and raped. And they were making fun of her for that girl having drug dealers rape her. And they had her so drugged up that she thought it was a well water causing everything. And they were, the police said if they ever find out they're peeping in bathroom doors at people, either putting cream on sores, going to the bathroom, taking care of their private area, they'll put them in jail for being peeping Toms. They actually find out they're peeping in bathroom doors while people are taking care of their private area. They'll put them in jail. So they better thank God. I taped witnesses. They never came upstairs or they'd be in jail for peeping Toms. Like they said, the police said if they find out they're actually peeping in cracks in bathroom doors, watching people either putting cream on sores or wiping themselves or whatever, they got the door closed, they're peeping through cracks in it, they're going to go to jail. See, the people that did this are stupid. I was talking to Daniel and Tyler, okay, about a week ago. We went to the laundromat, and when I told them that Melissa's kids were documenting games of pretend, that I had called the FBI, the house was actually bombed. And when they were playing Boo in the basement, they got tape saying they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. And then later on to Flora, they were games of pretend. Sick stuff, I found out. And I didn't find out for a year. And I said, well, you got to think. We only seen Uncle John and his kids on the holidays unless something happened. I seen them when we dropped off their bikes on Christmas of 2017. I seen them when we dropped off John's stuff. Melissa was packing, leaving them again. John said not to say anything, which we never did, except for don't fight in front of the kids. Okay? She came out, hi, what are you doing? Brought John's stuff over. Kids are running around yelling hi, waving, and chasing each other. We weren't there a minute or two, didn't leave the end of the car while we're talking about our new home. I did see him again in Walmart Maslin when we were picking up stuff at your house. We loaded up the truck and trailer. We went down to Walmart. They were in there. They come running at us. Grandma Popo, what you doing here? Buying curtains for the basement. Moment in time. Pass each other. Didn't see him again till the 4th, and only 2 minutes at the table. And they didn't come upstairs. Tyler's like, I didn't think about it. They didn't come upstairs. You were outside with my mom. He said, and you didn't see him. I said, I didn't see him 4 or 5 minutes out of the whole year, not alone. And I have your grandfather taped saying that. So do they. And they were taped saying that they wanted the house for that girl. And that later on that they were making up games of pretend, really sick stuff. They're documenting me games of pretend. She was in it with your grandfather and his girlfriend, thinking they're funny doing that. I said I would have spanked them if they were my kids. He said, I didn't even think about it. You didn't see him, did you? He said, you really didn't see him that year, did you? I said, no, I didn't. They didn't come upstairs. He said, I know they didn't come upstairs. Exactly. Get the idea. where they said they photoshopped all their lies. They better thank God I got witnesses that debunked it, because they were going to put them in jail. See, these people that did it are nuts. Special permission stocking tapes. Oh, an attorney gets special permission from the police or the judges. No, they don't. What is a jail sentence for an attorney hired by a husband to set up button cameras in a private home, stalking his wife without her knowledge or consent? 5 to 20 years in disbarment. They cannot break the right of privacy over a home. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements in a quarter. They have to agree to protect someone. Just like that prostitute showing up June 26, 26 in Dutch Valley Restaurant. It's my family doing all this for me. They're stealing everything from me, and we're teaching her a lesson because she's a faker. You know what people have said lately around me? Nobody thinks it's funny when they found out she almost died when they gave her the wrong meds. Really isn't funny, is it? And they're stealing everything from me, the drug dealers we hired to do this to her. Taped her in the bathroom, washing herself in the shower. And photoshopped out the other room to make fun of her. Then she admits to watching me sleep. Freak. Okay. July 5th, 26. I'm at a church with a client. I go in there, and I don't think you guys realize how much that prostitute and her family has made fools out of everybody. Some girls go, the mind reader said she's weird inside. I thought, ignore. Sit down, a guy comes out of nowhere. They won't say anything to her. She's working. A few minutes later, girls walk by. Some guy said we're not to say a word to her. Some prostitute in a restaurant was laughing how they fooled everyone. And she stole all the money for herself. Starr County sheriffs were in there. Okay. And they said, we all know Melissa's and our kids were taped saying they made everything up and they were lying for that girl to get everything. That girl that was in the restaurant laughing, she got everything. That's that girlfriend that agent has to pay to date. Well, won't the investigator call her a prostitute? Okay. And we thought that agent was just acting that way to get the drug dealers. And when he showed up at that courthouse, September 10th, 25, with those other people trying to get the case thrown out, we know he's actually with them. It's not an act. And then they said, she doesn't know. Some psychiatrist is paying people to follow her and call in and write up they seen her insane and acting crazy. You arrested them, right? If I can find a law on Google that they go to jail, why didn't you arrest them? I don't have a psychiatrist. What is a jail sentence for a psychiatrist having people write out fraud? Not only healthcare fraud, medical malpractice, HIPAA, and it's not even my doctor, so it's write out fraud. Don't have a psychiatrist. And then we go into wire fraud because it's electronic communication. And why didn't you threaten to arrest those people for stalking and harassing me? Don't make up scenarios if you're not going to do your job and arrest them. Oh, and we all know Dave's girlfriend. Dave confessed some girlfriend of his was using her insurance for 15 years. I know I was a victim of identity theft. Back then, you didn't have to show ID to start going to a doctor, have a hospital proceeding. You never had to show ID. That's how people used to have surgeries on other people's insurance, and people started dying. And if they had to give them blood or something, because it's not the right person, they got the wrong blood. And that's why they make you do IDs now. And there it was all over the TV, identity theft, healthcare fraud, all that stuff. And Dave said, some random lady took your identity, Karen. She's run up bills in your name. I'd never cheat on you. I'm always at work besides when I'm out with you, and we all know we don't stay at work. Here it hits him and another girlfriend for 15 years. Half my medical records are hers. Scam me my whole marriage. Then there's scenario. Okay. Now, they already got him. They were talking about that in Dutch Valley, too. We found out those people were dumb enough. They sent out a letter to her doctor at my community from an office hiring a psychiatrist on their own, and no one was to say a word because it was just an office. I don't know what office it is. Don't know what psychiatrist. Was never evaluated. Never signed consent to be evaluated. Never was evaluated. Never signed consent to release it. The whole thing's fraud. They can't hire one, and you can't write up something that you've never met someone. It's flat out fraud. Said we got them. Using doctors writing up fraud. Well, see, that's where one of their scenarios. Now, everything is documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Everything is. But my muscles locked up. Those doctors almost killed me. Okay? And they already know half my medical records are Dave's girlfriend. Another girlfriend. Okay. So, one of their scenarios. Dave paid off as a psychiatrist or a doctor to write up she's insane before. Well, that's flat out fraud. Don't be bringing fraud to the table when you already know it's fraud. Don't even bring it to me. Don't bring it. You make me have a headache right here and on the top of my head. Makes me sick. I don't want to hear about your fucking shit. In 1867, they took it out of the doctor's hands. They can't find somebody insane. If they think there's a real mental illness, they have to transfer the person to a state hospital. They have to have treatment. They get a hold of courts. It is mandatory law that you have a competency hearing and a jury trial. They explain it to you that you are found incompetent or insane because of da-da-da-da-da. You get social worker, disability, and a guardian. And until that happens, and it is law that you have to stay in a state psychiatric hospital, they have to get a hold of courts. And you have to have that competency hearing and a jury trial. Until that happens, you're not found insane. You can't pay somebody up to write up fraud. I'm already a victim of medical fraud and healthcare fraud and identity fraud. And see, that's where investigators were worried that Dave had paid some of those doctors off to kill me. And it wasn't just negligence. It was flat out attempted murder. It's that bad. And so for them to say any of those doctors were in it with Dave, that's not even funny. Because it goes from negligence attempted murder. Premeditated. See, they don't want to put their name on it. It's better to know it's negligent. See, that's where you can't pay a doctor to write off that. Because men were actually doing that to women before 1867. They didn't want to pay for a divorce. They didn't want to share anything, so they paid off a dirty doctor to write up that on their wife, and they had them locked up. Mental illness and mental insanity is not curable. It's a deep brain injury. And I've already talked to Attorney Kathy Stomach. There's nothing else but staying in a state psychiatric hospital. And they get a hold of the courts and the compass hearing. And it takes a state psychiatric hospital. Because if there's, that's where where those men were getting their wives locked up and stealing everything from them. They took it out of the hands of the doctors. And they put it in the care of the state. So they couldn't take payoffs. And they outlawed it. It's called a personal liberty law. Outlawed it in 1867. All right? But mental illness is not curable. It's a deep brain injury. Like investigators said, the only way that you can be insane and then you're fine is flat out lies or medication-induced psychosis. Medicine's made you crazy. And it was just the medicine. Those are the only way you can be insane and then fine. Your doctor cannot be in it with your husband. That is a HIPAA violation. They can't, in their other scenario, an opposing attorney went to a doctor that was willing to talk to him. Do you know what I Googled with? What would be the jail sentence? Both attorney and doctor would lose their license. Immediately. For HIPAA violations, federal HIPAA violations. It is illegal for your doctor to talk to an opposing attorney without your signed consent, picture ID. They can't be in with your ex-husband either, or your husband. They can't work against you. That is a federal crime of healthcare fraud, medical malpractice, HIPAA. They would go to jail 30 to 50 years. They told these people when I uploaded the laws last spring, we already told these people never to say a word to her again about that scenario. They'd go to jail at least 30, 35 years. Federal prison. Oh, you lose your license immediately, too. And then you're just saying that some crooked doctor took a payoff from Dave and wrote up front. He goes to jail, and so do they. You do realize that FBI closes hospitals down for that. And doctors, and they find the hell out of them. They shut down in like 22, 24, at least 2 hospitals in Cleveland for that shit. They wouldn't care if there wasn't a big hospital in this area. You know what they think? Well, they won't victimize another person. We won't have to worry about it. It's exploiting their patients. They can't be willing to talk about them. They can't write up stuff that's not curable. And what the big kicker is, everything's documented fraud. Medical malpractice and medication errors. It's already documented fraud. They already told the FBI in 18. And don't act like you didn't know. When I got home Sunday, July 5th, 26, okay, outside was a man. Now my car is bugged. Investigators have admitted they listen through my car speakers even when I'm not in it. FBI informant. Everything I have is bugged. There's a guy outside that said the drug lord found out that guy they call Henry Maffia's kid was laughing in a restaurant that she stole all her money. She was never to get a dime out of this. A person like that, because she's a prostitute. Okay? That drug lord only gave her to that agent to date him so that he'd open a case and it'd be thrown out for fraud, and the drug dealers that got arrested would be released for them defrauding her. And they could sue the government for tens of millions of dollars. The drug dealers were to get the money, not her. Beginning of the case in 2018, big drug dealers will walk around me. She'll learn not to take another man's money. She'll learn not to spend another man's money. Well, that fucking prostitute didn't learn anything, apparently. Put her dirty hands in it again. See, they would have wanted me to get my money. Why? Because I could have got out of here. The case is already set up for fraud. Wouldn't be here to defend it. And the drug dealers be released, and they would have been able to sue for millions of dollars of false arrest on the fraud. See, the only thing he had to do was leave me there. Telling me. See, that's where I was looking up with all the different ways it can be thrown out. And him bullying me on the phone and then leaving me there. And that's where I offered to write up a if they write up a statement, I sign it. And he doesn't have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. He's only a higher police officer. It's blackmail. See, that's one of the sheriffs said. Where she said in the law that agent, that it's illegal for him to even tell her she can't say anything or she won't get her money. We already knew it was blackmail. And he can't even say it. We all thought he was just acting that way. No, he stole money and bought prostitutes. That's where I offered, if they write up a letter, that I was willing to stay there. Well, they got surveillance on these people, threatened to harm me and were harming me and harming others. Knowing my rights of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, that agent didn't have enough authority to ask me to stay quiet. It was illegal, and he was only bullying me. With that knowledge of my rights, that he didn't have the authority, and knowing the agency alone would pay me, and knowing I was risking bodily harm in my life staying there to help them, while they got surveillance on those people, they would compensate me for any injuries. And I sign it, they pay me, they compensate me, it's over. The case is, like the guy said, they better take her offer. It fixes it from that agent defrauding her, and he's already got it set up as fraud. Now, November 23rd, 25, Summit Mall. Okay? Girls are up there. This whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was already connected to us, so we asked him if we could run a scam on her. He said yes, if they made sure he got everything in the divorce. I remember people around me saying, remember the agreement with Dave? He's to get everything in the divorce. Make sure it happens. Okay? It's agreement. I remember them saying that. So they randomly picked me out. They even, around me in front of investigators, they had said they picked me because they didn't think anybody cared about me and they could get away with harming me. So I want you to think they randomly picked me out to run their con. Randomly. Now I want you to think of that little bitch. That little fucking priss-ass bitch. That's behind everything. Like they said, they already know that attorney's office behind this already confessed it's him. Now that little punk-ass bitch I've never met. I'm in Walmart Alliance, July 8th, 26. They have his confession where they said he was showing up to yell and mocking me because I had did that tape of how I was born so that you would understand why my legs were always crooked or turned in, why my muscles locked up. It explains everything when you look up way I was born, where my mom, that guy gave her ether, knocked her out, and I was way too up inside. He used forceps and literally hard pulled me out. He almost killed my mother. He almost killed me. And left big black and blue marks down my face. You have to resuscitate the baby. You actually kill it with ether. It also, with hard pulling on a baby's neck, it misaligns the spine, which makes your legs pigeon-toed, which goes into degenerative joint disease. It also causes nerve damage, which can make your muscles clench up. And it can make it so the baby can't swallow at first. And I couldn't swallow. He almost killed me. He could have snapped my neck. And my mother was out for almost a day. She almost died. He damaged her tailbone. And they said that he had to, according to the information I read on Google, he had to use the forceps as a leverage and pull hard against her tailbone. You were too far up inside. And see, that's where my mother was out for almost a whole day. I'm laying in the nursery. I can't even swallow for a long time. We're both lucky he didn't kill us both. And my mother could not handle at all, almost dying. And so her way of handling it, she already didn't want another. She always said, I didn't want another baby. I had 3 daughters. I had a son. I had my children. Then I found out I was going to have you. Then I almost died. And I almost died having you. You're your father's daughter. And, as a child, that's a source of pain. It hurts. But my mother was from southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and she was one of those southern girls with a hot temper. I'm glad my father raised me. He was strict, he was tough, and a lot of good women are raised by fathers only. And you know what? They end up being military, law enforcement, or they become something. Because their fathers don't coddle them, and they teach them to be good people with ethics. There's nothing wrong with your father raising you. And where that idiot thought he'd show up and say something, I'll tell you what, my mother may be able to describe that's how she feels towards me, because she can't handle that she almost died when I was born. Some idiot went to say something like that when I was real little, and she slapped that man's face. And the words, "That is still my baby. And you won't talk to Karen like that." My mouth must have hit the ground. I thought, my baby, I thought it was my father's daughter. And she went off. She even slapped Dave. Dave got smart with her, and she smacked his face. She started smacking his shoulder, smacked his face. She got about 4 or 5 blows in. She was one of those crazy, hot-headed southern girls with a hot temper. She went like scary, crazy mean. Glad my father raised me. And Dave went to raise his hand to her, and she screamed at him, put her finger in her face. "I'll call the cops. I'll have them arrest you. Put one hand on me." And she's screaming how she's going to have the police arrest him. You know, that fool backed down. She hated Dave. Hated him. These people, I found out, had somebody act like my mother and was in it with Dave Badmouth. I mean, my mother hated Dave. Hated him. Now, we're going to talk about July 8th, 26th. Walmart Alliance, the guy behind all this. Okay? He thought he was going to show up and mock me. And he ended up confessing. He's like, I'm the one that made her live through complete horror. For a person like that, I taught her a lesson. Oh. Lesson for what? Somebody random you picked out? To victimize your bitch? Found out her mother didn't even want her when she was born. A person like that, my mother would have beat the shit out of you. She may say, she don't even hear herself how bad she sounds, but she can't rationalize in her mind she almost died. And so I was my father's daughter. But some bastard before thought he would say something smart like she did, and she slapped his face. My 91-year-old mother and her walker would have hunted you down and slapped you. And she would have slapped you silly. I'll make sure she never has a secure job again. I have a secure job, you stupid idiot. I have to have an FBI background check all the time. It's once a year, if not every other year. And I have to have one every 5 years, and I'm a notary. And you don't control my life. You're a terrorist. That admitted you put me through complete horror. And it was you. To teach me a lesson for what? For what, bitch? For what? Your big scam on the government? To steal for drug dealers? Yesterday, I was in Acme on Whipple. People were in there. That attorney's office behind here, behind all this, was stupid showing up in that Walmart. Confessing everything was him. And putting her through complete horror. He thought he was going to make fun of her because her mother didn't want her. Where's that funny? Maybe in a psychotic mind. But I thank God every day my father raised me. He raised me to be a strong, independent person, to be kind, respectful, to stand up for myself, and to realize you can't fix stupid people that don't act right because they're willingly stupid. They described him after he died as a kind, how do they put it, as a hard, gentle man. Or a hard, generous man or something like that. Or a hard, kind man. Hard, kind man. He was very hard and strict, but very kind. And he helped people that were in need. Like I said, a lot of women are raised by their fathers. And a lot of them are law enforcement, military. or they become something. Because the fathers instill in their daughters, they're not coddled. How to act right, proper. And how to survive. So the guy behind all this confessed. Everybody knows it's that attorney's office. What are you going to do about it? He can't be his own little terrorist, saying that he can put people through complete horror. Last November in Walmart 62, okay, people were saying that guy Will that did this. He's so powerful in this area. He can harm anybody, have them harmed in front of law enforcement, and law enforcement won't stop him. They realize how powerful he is. Like the cops are a bunch of scaredy cops. They are scared of a terrorist harming people in front of you and daring you to arrest them. Do you want me to go get my 91-year-old mother and her walker for backup to slap him? He should have been arrested a long time. That's the bill from the Freemasons' big scam of the dirty doctor not being one of hers. Worse for them than they had lied. It was one of her doctors. The whole thing's a scam. In it with the drug cartel, a drug lord, prostitutes, running a con on the FBI. This whole thing was an attack on the FBI to steal from them. Where that guy said the drug lord gave that agent that prostitute to date, so he'd throw a case. Some drug lord was running a con on the FBI. You know, the other day when I left Walmart Alliance, there was a lady outside. She said, I feel horrible. She said, I wish I wouldn't have said a word to her son. That girl that was screaming in the restaurant, they said is a prostitute, laughing. She stole all the money for herself. And that they hired drug dealers to Photoshop her washing in the shower in the other room to make her look weird with herself. And it was drug dealers doing it. I feel horrible saying anything to her son. He said he didn't know anything about it. I bet he didn't, because it was photoshopped by drug dealers. And her son Dan told me that his dad had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was him and his men at home before. They're supposed to have taped her saying it. And since that prostitute said it was drug dealers, it was a drug dealer named Pete. Never met him. It's a black and blue mark. The hypnotic drugs and told to say it. They already investigators told people he's drug cartel, a serial rapist, and a drug dealer. I've never met him. These people admitted last year they were hiding behind doors, and as I walked by, they'd reach out and eject me real quick and duck back. She don't even remember being injected. I thought, well, why wouldn't I remember being injected? And then I thought, if they're in the hallway, we had bees in the house. There's big bee nest in the woods, and they were always getting in the house. And taking a broom and swatting them was almost like at times, a weekly thing. To think I would get stung by something, look for a bee, you wouldn't think to look for a human. Because nobody should be in your home. Hypnotic drugs cause sleepwalking. In less than a minute. You can eat, drink, drive a car, talk, walk, cook. You can have sex. It's a perfect date rape drug. You're wide awake and you're sleepwalking. If, and the dangers of using it, because you'll never remember what you said or did. Audrey, Carl's daughter, watched a thing on the cartel with her husband, said the hypnotic drugs is a drug of choice of the cartel. They will load up syringes of it and go to raves, big parties, walk around stabbing the kids and walk off. Wait a minute, come back and they'll leave with them willingly. They won't find them. They did it to a U.S. Marshals kid twice. I met her in 24. She moved out of the area for safety. My co-worker, Dar, she was taken and raped. Don't know who took her. My neighbor, Mike, came up to me. Didn't know how he got home. Didn't know how he changed his shoes. Didn't know how he got money in his pocket. What he ate. And then he tried to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. And it's like, you're stoned out. I kept thinking, you're stoned out of your mind. Go sleep it off. You didn't even know how we got out of the bar. You don't remember anything. And they admitted to doing that to me. Where August 7th, 25 investigators who got him taped admitting to drugging her and telling her to say it before even using hypnotic drugs and calling Agent John a coward. Called him a fool June 7th, 23. Dared the FBI July 9th, 23. Like I said, July 8th or 9th this year of 26, Walmart Alliance, the guy behind this, confesses. They said it's that attorney's office behind all this. Confessed he put me through complete horror. Who the hell does he think he is? And a person like me, they picked me out randomly. Just somebody where they said, we don't have to worry about doing it to her. There's no one cares about her in life at all. Nobody will care what we do to her. Nobody cares about her. She's a perfect one to pick out. They picked me out by needing somebody to run a scam on. Not that I did anything wrong. So a person like me, you're a victim. You're a victim. Choose your words carefully. Choose your words carefully. Victim. You're a victim. I have one traffic ticket from 1989. I am squeaky clean. And so for him to say I wouldn't get a secure job, he'd make sure of it. For what, bitch? You're a scam. Everybody knows it's a scam. Drugged confessions, photoshopping and washing, fake dirty doctors. And for everything you did, I can Google what the jail sentence is, find the law and the codes. You're so stupid. Just like years ago, they were yelling stuff at me. And people around me said, she doesn't even remember you. She'll never remember what you drugged her and told her to say it before. So they yelled it at me. I ran for the bathroom, threw up, I had diarrhea. Horrified, I went to Jim, my one neighbor. He said, Karen, are you sure they're not playing you? I said, I never talked to anybody. I never had anybody in my home. I had family repair guys and installation guys. 2 silly officers on, because we only had 3 cameras on the outside, nothing on the inside. Front porch, back porch, side yard. Okay? We didn't have anything inside. Had a light in the outside security system in August of 18. Called 911 at midnight, and they came out and they were silly. They told me it looked like an alien orb, angry spirit. Told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They don't want to bother. I didn't have anybody else in my home. I didn't even have my neighbors in my home. I never seen her talk to anybody. I thought the orange well water is toxic. I thought it was causing the bruising, throwing up, dizzy, infection. I thought it was causing everything. I thought it was toxic. Karen, that'd be horrible if somebody played with you like that. It is horrible. I've never seen her talk to anybody. See, that's where did I meet these people? I didn't. Where did I talk to them? I didn't. Where did I have them in my home? I didn't. They admitted no man talked to her. No, we used to say her mom or dad. See, these people are stupid. Absolutely stupid. Hypnotic drugs and told us to say it, where they try to claim they had sodium pentothal. And would these people, everybody stop falling for their fucking shit? They tell people they have a mind reader. Oh, bite me. Oh, we got a mind reading machine. Oh, bite my ass. They told everybody they'd chip me too. Do you know, I was talking to this one nurse. She said, we were talking about the drug dealers. She said, I did an online group chat on what to look for human trafficking victims. If somebody says something crazy, that people grabbed them and chipped them. That's what the drug cartel is doing to the rape victims they're releasing. They're telling them if they tell law enforcement what happened to them, they can't hide them anywhere. They'll find them. That they chipped them and they can track them anywhere. It's a scam to keep the rape victims they release quiet. It's just a scam. And it was an online group chat. It was just to keep rape victims quiet. You guys need to stop falling for their fucking shit. Not saying these people are crazy, and I probably would like a body scan, but these people are insane. They make up every psycho, crazy thing in the world. My son John, on Thanksgiving of 18, when I asked him what's going on, I don't know, Mom. He said, I told Melissa, that's his ex-wife, that you're moving out, going through a divorce. She'll have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It's just because of the divorce. She'll have the kids make up something, and probably our church people too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Well, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but I did. And because it's just because of the divorce and it's all going to be made up, don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. He asked me like a year or so later to be a reliable name on a court record to babysit his kids. And after school, trying to get custody of him, I couldn't help him because I was working 2 jobs. I didn't get off the first one, let alone the second one. So he ended up losing his kids. He moved to Florida, married this new woman, and they got married, started a church, had a baby, looks happier than ever. Had to get away from the call. Okay? June 3rd, 23, my son John, when he lived in Ohio, was a union rep for the union committee. Okay? Had several offices, thousands of contacts. Hawk College, was a manager of several places, knows thousands of electricians. Electrical companies pull in the gas station in Louisville. Isn't that John's mom? He said that she's never hurt anybody. Because of these people, he may never see his mom again. And that's his mom, I know. And he said it's just because of these people. And that she's never hurt anybody. July 26, 25. An investigator comes in Walmart 62 between 8 and 10. I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said that nothing bad ever happened to him. June 7th, 25. Investigators showed up. They had went to Dr. Greg Haben on Brink Road. He was a kid's pediatrician for 18 years. He verified that he's seen him 3 or 4 times a year for 18 years. and that there was no sign of any abuse, no sign of neglect, and they were very well taken care of. Medical proof nobody was ever hurt. Just like Danny and Jen didn't know about the shower scene because it's photoshopped by drug dealers. The drug dealer confessions. Drugs and told to say it. Okay? Josh defended me. That lady outside where she said she felt bad and she wouldn't have said anything to my son. Well, you need to pull the FBI case, honey. It's documented, verified. I was framed before and it was a cartel in my home before and it's a drug scam. And that the doctor from before is not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. The whole thing's a scam. Where that lady said, the Altman Hospital Stat Care in Louisville, that doctor, he had said that everything that was wrote up on her before is already documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. I know that. So does the FBI and police. June 29th, 26th, I'm in Louisville, Altman Stat Care. That doctor had been, my doctor at my community health has admitted around people that he was helping out in this and stalking me. That's not okay. Well, that guy had said something, don't tell anybody, he was telling them. Well, we went in and he took the guy that was in the doctor in Stat Care. He walks in a room and he's talking to somebody I didn't notice before. Her legs are crooked. Looked it up. She does have degenerative joint disease. I looked her up before. Everything is documented medical fraud. Medical fraud, medication errors, and medical malpractice. He said, I looked up what happened to her. How her whole body swelled up, seizures, heart attacks, thyroid, adrenal gland shut down. No wonder those other doctors thought she was dying. They almost killed her. And there's no excuse they didn't pull her off all those meds. No wonder it's brought up, everything's brought up as fraud. But her muscles locked up. And it's documented as fraud. That lady said, I found out that doctor already said it's all documented fraud. Oh, they were talking about it in that Walmart in Alliance. We all know, all the doctors know, all those doctors from before were wrote up as fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. They almost killed her. Gave her the wrong meds. See, if you talk to Officer Markey, they already told him that in 18. They gave him my medical records, and he already gave it to the FBI, and they already know everything's fraud on me. And then they already got out of Dave, another girlfriend was using mine, and then these people admitted he was paying off doctors to even write up fraud. Are you crazy? Because like investigator said, it's a good thing we didn't know about any of that medical fraud. Those doctors would still be in jail. See, that's where December 31st, 23, I'm in Altman emergency room with a client. And some nurses are talking. They're like, my God, nobody will ever back those doctors from before. They were all lying, ripping her off. They gave her the wrong medicine, and they almost killed her. Nobody will back doctors lying so bad that they're saying that she even has level brain tumors. There's nothing wrong with her, but her muscles locked up, and they gave her a bunch of wrong meds and almost killed her. Nobody ever backed doctors lying and giving people medication errors and making them sick. Two guys walked by, and one officer said, I'm assigned to her at night. The other guy said, all those doctors were lying before? He said, yes, it was a medicine making her sick. I went in Altman last year. They went, that's the one that hospital made a lot of mistakes on, and the hospital's grateful she didn't report anyone, and she didn't sue. I bet. They could have got shut down. They almost killed me. Like people said today, where they were running around saying they were stealing everything because she was a faker, and they found out she almost died from medical malpractice. None of this is funny. Somebody calls you a baby word does not give you the right to steal from someone. Like they said, they needed someone to run a con on. That's where December 1st, 25, the other Michelle that told on them about the dirty doctor not being one of mine works for them, and they had lied. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me and leave me incompetent. It didn't work. And soon she told another agent. He broke up with her. And then Carl seen her have a meltdown saying that outside Sheetz in Harville, April 17th, 25, April 24th, 25, the Texas group admits the whole thing is a scam from that guy Will to join them of the dirty doctor not being one of mine works for them, and they had lied. And that other Michelle told him to take care of her, and they threatened to kill her. Her and her friends went badass, telling on all of them. December 1st, 25, Walmart 62, an investigator came in. That other Michelle showed up at his office, said that these people confessed this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved, and the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy Pete running his mouth, she doesn't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. And these people admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before, and she has no memory of those people. And the Tupperware with yourself is nothing but photoshopped or washing in the shower, and the whole thing was a scam. I'm going to upload this.